when you see a non-key number like move from 4.5 to 5.5, it doesn't really give you any value.
I got one equation for you right now.
Can Justin Jefferson be stopped? I don't know.
Live the high life.
It's a close game.
The Taylor Heineke life. Yeah.
To bite some kneecaps. I
love this pick. Tampa has been overrated all season long, and the people who make the books are still on this. They got blown out by Blake Purdy.
This is a trap game if I've ever seen one.
Spread's the way to go. You just have to know how to bet it. Hey! Welcome to another week of Math versus
Not
Mash.
today.
Mash!
Your cousin's in town. What's up, boyo? How you doing?
See, Smash told me that there was going to be a replacement. I didn't think it was going to be you.
Oh, yeah. I'm coming with that blue heat. Let's do this. I got picks for days.
It's all right. We can riff with anyone, and I guess if it's cousin Mash from Rico's Porta Potty Emporium, we can make this work.
Ooh. Ho ho! Go get your porta potties from Rico.
Woo! So all right. So it's me and Mash this week. So it's Math versus Smash. We're brought to you by the Scene Snobs. Obviously, smash that like button on both. Subscribe, all those good things.
Mash that button.
Mash it. You can mash the button as well. So we're gonna do a quick recap of week 2. And week 2, we went 6-4. A lot of good games, and we should have won that Rams game. The sad field goal by Sean McVay is really not fair. So otherwise, I think we did pretty well. So I think I consider it more 6-3 with an asterisk. That's what I think of it as. So we got to play the music real quick. All right, so 2 winning weeks in a row. It's a great way to start.
You went 6-3, all right? I'm unlosable, as we say. Yous guys don't know what you're doing. My pick's solid gold.
Unlosable.
Unlosable. It's a coined term, copywritten.
So we'll get to unlosable bets when we get to the Giants, because this is a whole nother week.
Whoa.
So all right, so if we get into this, let's start with the sad trombone game of the week. The Detroit Lions. The Kool-Aid was being drank. The Oktoberfest was being drank. All these things were being drank. And the Lions did what the Lions always do, and they lose at home against a team that just lost to the Rams. I love Dan Campbell. I love the Lions. I think they're going to be okay. This week, we have Atlanta at Detroit. So Atlanta's coming to town. I think this is a way different game. I think Atlanta's played 2 really bad opponents. They can't throw the ball, and the Lions can defend the pass, or can defend the run really well. So I think Ritter's going to have to throw the ball, and I think that Detroit is going to get after Desmond Ridder. And little did I know, and I didn't know this, but this came up afterwards. Apparently, Geno Smith is one of the best road quarterbacks in the NFL.
And listen, Geno Smith was the worst Jet to ever come through the Jets, and that's saying something, because
Mark Sanchez, I think, begs the difference.
Oh, that guy! Don't even get me started on Sanchez. Go back to high school, Sanchez. You know what I mean.
I loved the Jets when it was Chad Pennington and Curtis Martin.
Listen, I love the Jets when the Jets didn't exist. That was the best part. You want to talk about the Jets? You go downtown to the Bridge and Tunnel crew. Let them complain about the Jets and they're losing. I'm a G-man all the way. It is a devastating loss for the Detroit Lions last week to the G-men, but that's what happens every week.
Well, we didn't lose to the G-men. We lost to the Hawks, but we technically could have lost to the Giants.
It's like everybody loses.
Everyone loses to the Giants. But so this just so we can go through this one, the spread's all the way down to 3, and this opened at about 5. So there's a ton of action coming in Atlanta. There's even more action coming in Atlanta with the injury report. We'll get a full injury report on Thursday. I say wait on this game. And I mean, 3's a good bet with the Lions, but I think we might get 2.5. And if you get 2.5, I think that's a great bet. I think Detroit covers this bet pretty easily. I don't think Bijan Robinson's a good play against Detroit. I think Goff's a great play. I think Reynolds is a good play coming in for our boy Montgomery. I think Our guy, not Bijan. That's the two rookie quarterbacks or running backs, but the Lions rookie running back. I think he gets loose this week, gets a little bit more involved, especially in the passing game, especially if Amon St. Brown's are not there. But keep an eye on the injury report. But I think the Lions are a good bet this week. I'm not gonna lose too much sleep. Seattle always plays tough. Apparently, Geno Smith's a great road quarterback, and I think all of the circumstances of a raucous crowd will affect Desmond Ridder far more than it affected Geno Smith.
Listen, everything you say, Matt, it's all whimsical and it's all cute, but let's just say I think the Detroit Lions and all their toughness is going to come out and they're going to win. But I agree with Matt. Wait on this one, see what happens. Don't drop a dime, put a hundo down maybe. That's it.
Also, change the mojo up. We're still in Lions colors, but we put the sweatshirt back there. It's in the back this week. It's still there. We're still rolling with it, but we're just changing the juju up a bit. All right, so now we're going to your neck of the woods. Not exactly your neck of the woods, but close. We got Buffalo at Washington. The Washington Commies football team, Skins, whatever you want to call them.
Listen, I call them lousy is what I call them. And them and Buffalo took both a devastating loss last week to the G-Men, and it was sad to watch. But I think they're both due for a win this week. But my money is always on blue. Go Buffalo.
Mash, do you just watch New York Giants wins on Sunday?
Listen, there was a documentary came out in 1986 called Giants Among Men. And that is the only thing that VHS plays in my home. We don't do streaming. We don't do anything else. It is the VHS copy of that documentary or the big blue on screen.
We still so you're still rocking the VHS. What about we are CRT or do we got a flat screen?
Listen, don't get ahead of yourself, all right? You got to understand something. I got my TV in 2000. The warranty's still good. It's through my Uncle Rico. You may know him. He sells porta potties. That's all I'm going to say. Oh, all right. But I'm going Buffalo all the way. And also, Big Blue's going to win the Super Bowl. Calling it now.
I think Buffalo wins this game, but I do think Washington's defensive line is really scary. I think their defense is really solid. This spread's 6.5. I think Washington can cover the spread. And I'm a huge Bills fan. I just think 6.5 is too big of a number. I actually like Washington to cover this number. I like Sam Howell. Maybe even live to win. I don't know. Buffalo's been a weird team so far, and they're on the road. Washington's pretty raucous since Snyder left. I don't know. There's a lot. I just think the spread's a little too big for these two teams. I think Washington might, and much to your chagrin, I think Washington might be the first or second best team in the NFC East.
Listen, Matt, you're a smart guy, but I got to tell you, because it ain't going to happen. All right. There's only one team in the NFC East, and that's blue. And there's actually only 5 Super Bowls that ever been played. And then, of course, that's 1986, 1991, 2001, which we don't talk about, 2007 and 2011. Oh, that's all I'm going to say.
Man, I remember those Eli games. Wild times. All right. So I'm on Detroit and I'm on Washington. I got a lot of bets this week. And Mash is on blue on both. Next, we have Carolina at Seattle. This game is lined at 6. Now, I've been wrong on Seattle twice. I'm going to bet this game, but this time I'm betting on Seattle again, which I did in week 1 and failed. But I just think Carolina's terrible. I don't think 6 is a big enough line. I think they could lose by 14 to anyone in the NFL. Their offensive line's horrendous. They have a rookie QB, and Seattle's a well-coached team. I think the Rams surprised them. I think the Rams are going to surprise us all this year, and I've already upped their rating up. We'll talk about that when we get to the Cincinnati game, but I just think Seattle comes out and beats them by at least 10.
Yeah, I can't agree with you more. I think Seattle's going to come out strong after the loss last week to the Giants, but they're going to win this game. They're going to take it down. Carolina's got no chance. The spread's too big, and in fact, I think it is going to be larger, like you said.
Yeah, so I think 6 is a good number now if you want to jump on it. Otherwise, anything under 7 is probably really valuable. So easy game there. Not much to talk about. From Seattle side, Kenneth Walker probably a good play. Probably a sneaky play against Carolina. I think that would be probably it. I wouldn't play anyone in Carolina's team. They just honestly suck too bad. No. Next we go to the sad Bears going to Kansas City. Now this is lined at 12.5. I cannot in good confidence tell anyone to bet a line over 10. I would never bet Chicago in this instance. If you think Kansas City is that much better than Chicago, which they are, then you are free to bet 12.5. honestly, I'd probably tease this down to 6.5 instead. Maybe pair it with some other game you think is going to stay close teased. Kansas City, I think Kansas City from a standpoint of fantasy, I think Mahomes is good to play. I still really like Kadarius Toney. I think he's solid. They have their backup tight end. He caught 4 passes last week, and he caught 3 the week before. So he's even with Kelsey, and he's only 3,000 at DFS. I think that's a great value play. Don't play Fields. I think that offense is a mess. And he just came out today and said that his coach was the reason why he was playing poorly. So there's trouble in paradise already. No. I just think Chicago's horrendous. I think there's just better ways to bet this Kansas City game outside of the spread. I don't think the spread's the way to go in this instance.
Listen, if you're asking me for a pick 'em pool, I'm going to say go all the way Kansas City. Travis Kelce's getting taken care of very nicely by Taylor Swift right now, who we love here at Math and Mash. Not Smash. Let's get rid of that guy. But I'm going to tell you right now, Kansas City's going to come out strong, even though they just lost to the Giants last week. But it's all right. Don't bet this. Maybe just do the pick.
Yeah, I think for an eliminator, I think Kansas City, and I think Seattle's a great eliminator pick this week. If you're trying to still save some stuff, Carolina could keep it close, maybe, but I just don't think they can win. I do not see Carolina going into Seattle and winning that game. So I think both of those two are really good survivor picks if you want to save Kansas City. Next, now I just said I couldn't in good faith tell you that to bet over a line that's 10.5 or 10. But we have Dallas going to Arizona. And man, is Arizona bad. And Dallas has been really good. And I know Mash is going to disagree. My model makes this game 13 points. 11.5 per my model is a bet. I'm probably still going to stay away because I don't like spreads over 10. But that being said, the model says yes on Dallas, and the market says yes on Dallas. So do what you will with that. Obviously, I think Tony Pollard's a great play. Arizona's run defense is horrendous. Maybe Dak, I guess, if you're into Dak. I kind of hate Dak, hoping that Trey Lance gets a start sometime this year. But if they keep winning, that's not going to happen. What say you, Mash?
Listen, my pick here is going to be a little controversial, all right? Considering both teams just lost to the G-Men and the Big Blue took over, I feel bad for Arizona because they just don't have the chops to beat Dallas. In my opinion, this is an outrageous thing to bet on. But I will say this, that every week I see Dallas come out on the field, and I hope that nobody shows up to the game and there's some Jean-Claude Van Damme sudden death type scenario that happens that only results in that team never playing again. So I'm going to say. Yeah,
I'm not a huge fan of Dallas either, but they are. My power ratings has them as one of the best teams in the league. And they have covered both weeks so far. So Dallas has been a good bet so far. Arizona's horrendous, just like Chicago's horrendous. This very well could be a 14-point game. It's just, again, I don't really like betting spreads over 10. So I'm going to probably stay away, but the model says it's good. And the model's been winning so far. So we can't who are we to say it's wrong? True. All right. So moving on next. Oh boy, we got to intro this one a little bit. We got our boy. It's Broncos country. Let's ride.
And so what's up? Oh, there's Russ Wilson. Oh, no! That's called an interception.
Oh boy.
We have Denver at Miami. So Miami has an incredibly great home field advantage during this time of year because they just melt the other team on the sideline that faces the sun. It's not fair, but they sit in the air-conditioned side in the shade, and the other team sits in 120-degree heat. And that if it's good enough to put down the Bills, it's well good enough to put down Denver. This is only a 6-point spread. I think you can make this spread $1 million. I think Denver is horrendous, like bad. I think Russell Wilson will no longer be the starter by week 6 because they'll be 0-6. I make this game a 9-point game easily. Miami's down, I think, an offensive lineman, and Waddle might not play. It doesn't matter. It really does not matter. Tua is good. Tyreek Hill could run past every single defender for Denver, and Russell Wilson's going to throw 3 picks, even against a bad defense. Just no, absolutely not. Denver is a bet on pretty much every week.
I'm all for it. Miami, you make the pick there. Devastating loss to the Giants, but thank you so much for taking out this small-time team, Denver Broncos. And I will say this, guys, there are going to be Tua touchdowns in the first half.
I think I think the Tua play to Tyreek Hill is definitely in play for the stack. I honestly like Mostert this week. I think he's fine. Denver has cheap receivers, but I don't like any of them. And Russell Wilson's thrown some touchdowns, but, maybe he's good in fantasy. I'm just never going to play him in fantasy because there's always going to be a week where they're not going to score any points. Maybe it's not this week, but we shall see. But yeah, Denver's horrendous. I'm gonna tell you to bet against Denver until they at least win, and even then, I still might tell you that it was a fluke. Next, we got Houston at Jacksonville. Now, Jacksonville's offense has looked a little anemic. I think this is just the medicine for Jacksonville's offense. The spread's 9.5. I think that's too big of a spread. Division, especially in a division game. DeMeco Ryans isn't a bad coach, but I do think from a fantasy, so no bet on the game, but I think Jacksonville's offense is going to go off. I think I don't bet over unders this year, but if I were to bet an over, this would be one of the overs I would bet. I think Trevor Lawrence could have 3 to 4 touchdowns. I think Calvin Ridley gets loose again. From a Houston perspective, probably no one to play from an offensive side, but because you just can't guess who's going to score there. But kind of a nothing game. I think Jacksonville takes this one running away, but
I wouldn't watch this game if you paid me to.
Mash, do you even know who the Houston Texans are?
What is a Houston? What is a Houston? Do they even belong here? Texans? Come on.
I don't think they're on your DVD or on your VHS.
Nah. In fact, you know what? This team is so useless right now. I think they should just be kicked out completely, become a hockey team. Get rid of them. All right. This one's in the bag. Jacksonville's got it. Go for it. Good on you.
Yeah. Jacksonville, I think you can make some fun stuff with Jacksonville and do some offensive props. Do Jacksonville, maybe do Jacksonville minus 6.5, throw in an over, and then throw in Trevor Lawrence 2+ touchdowns and a Calvin Ridley anytime touchdown. I bet you that gets roughly to 10-1, which are some of my favorite 5-leggers to play. We'll talk about one I hit later with my boy Kenny. But for now, yeah, Jacksonville's going to beat Houston. I just don't know by how much. All right, next we have Indianapolis going to Baltimore. Division game. It's lined currently at 7.5. It opened at 9. The steam going the other way has brought Baltimore into a bet. I make this about a 9-point game, but it really just depends who starts, right? I mean, is it Anthony Richardson? Is it Gardner Minshew? Does it matter? I don't know, but Indianapolis has been a better team than I thought they would be. But Lamar also looks really good. That offense continues to get better. So I think this is a bet on. What say you, Mash?
Yo, Math, I got a little bit of a tidbit for you. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Big tidbit about Baltimore and Indiana. Did you know that the Colts suck and so do the Ravens? This game, bet Baltimore if you're going to bet, but leave it alone. I'm telling you, it's a stinker. Who cares?
You think they're as good as the 2001 Ravens?
We don't talk about that game. It exists, but we don't talk about that game.
That might be Matt's first betting win. I won a Super Bowl square that year for the second quarter, and I won $200.
Well, then eat shit.
So I always have a fondness for that game, but yes, I understand. But yeah, I think Baltimore's the pick here. I think they can cover this line, but I don't know. Indianapolis might be frisky, but I like Lamar playing this. I like Anthony Richardson as the play if he's on. I think Gardner Minshew isn't going to be worth the money in DFS, but we shall see. This is an interesting one because I have a completely different look than the market. We have the Chargers at Minnesota. Now I know the Chargers are 0-2. I know that they have underperformed, but Minnesota's bad. I mean, I think they're really bad. And I just think the Chargers go in to Minnesota and they just house this team. And it's only lined at a pick'em. It's -1. So it's a pick'em game. And I think the Chargers win this one running away. I make this at least a 5-point game. So I'm over a field goal. And I just think Minnesota's still overrated in the market. And I think the Chargers are taking a lot of negative press from the fact that they're 0-2. But this is a very winnable game versus the past 2 weeks.
You see, I stand a little bit different. I think Minnesota's overdue. I think they can have a winning year. I think they just need to push forward, get past the last couple of weeks of losing to the Giants first 2 weeks, and really keep going. This is my, what does he call it? What is our cousin called? Smash?
Oh, we got it. Don't worry. We have it all queued up for you, Mash.
This is Carl Aqua Teen Hunger Force, and this is my Stone Cold Lock of the Century of the I'm not allowed to say the name because someone copyrighted it.
There it is. Minnesota. Bet big, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe drop a dime, few hundo, get to it.
I'm very much against Smash on this one. I think the Chargers handled Minnesota. I think this is just one of those instances where an above average to average AFC team takes a bad NFC team to the house.
Listen, you don't like my picks? You don't like my picks. Whatever. Ain't no skin off my nose. Come down to Rico.
This will be the Mash Math bet of the week. You got a stone cold lock, and it feels like mine too. So there it is. Where we go. This is the bet of the week. Maybe Smash will smash a laptop in wherever he is, Boca Raton or wherever that guy ends up. Atlantic City.
Oh, I'm always on the tables, baby. Let's do it.
All right, next. So this is a really interesting game, and there's a ton of injury news on this one, so we don't know where it's going to go. But it opened at 6, and now it's at 2.5, and that's the Rams at Cincinnati. I bet this game, the Rams minus 2.5, or plus 2.5. So I think that's a good bet already, because I think if Joe Burrow is announced out, the Rams might be favored. The Rams might be favored by 3.
Oh, yeah.
That's
your safe bet. The Rams are definitely the way to go in this one.
Even if Burrow plays, he's hurt, and if at the very least, I think the Rams hang if Burrow plays. But if he doesn't, I think the Rams come in and they win another game. And Sean McVay, after a surprise win first week, held with what I think is probably the best team in the league, San Francisco, the second week. I think they can handle Cincinnati, especially if the backup quarterback plays, because both their backups are very, very bad. So watch the injury news on this. If you like the Rams, I think if you can get them at 2.5, 3, you hit them now. But if you want to wait on it, it could be as low as a pick 'em, and it could even flip the other way if you think Cincinnati is good without Joe Burrow. I don't think they are. So we'll see. And I'm the biggest Burrow fan. We all know that Joe Burrow's the man. Look at this guy. But if he's not there, then that team's garbage. So next we move on to this one's controversial for you, Mash. We got New England at the Jets.
Oh,
New England is favored by 3.
As they should be.
I don't know, man. I don't think Mac Jones should be favored against anyone. I don't care if that, like me and Smash talked about this last week. The key to the New York Giants beating Dallas was being patient, running the ball, and then running the screen game with Zach Wilson. Do you know what they did? They did not that. They didn't run the ball nearly enough. And Zach Wilson was allowed to throw 3 interceptions.
I come on to this show. I'm doing you guys a solid because Smash had to go off and get his spot treatment. And here I am. I'm getting offended. You're offending me with your talk. You're supposed to know things. The Giants won that game 40-0. How do you not know this by now? All right. I don't want to hear anything else. No more fairy tales. Let's go.
Okay. So just so everyone knows that it's lined -3 to New England. I think that's a bridge too far. The Jets are at home. Their defense is still amazing. Mac Jones still sucks. And if they just hand the ball off to Breece Hall and Delvin Cook 20 times apiece, they win this game. So and Garrett Wilson catches 1 play action bomb. They're going to win this game 14-3.
First of all, the Jets are not playing at home. The Jets are playing in a state they live in, and they sublet, the field. It is what it is.
You leave the Jets alone. They've had enough. Mash.
The only time I'll say this, but go Patriots. Actually, that's not true.
God.
Go Patriots.
Yeah. Oh, now revenge comes, because we have the New York Giants at the San Francisco 49ers flying across the country.
Yeah.
This is currently lined at 10. Steve Young at quarterback. Tiki Barber is not scoring any touchdowns here.
To all my ladies out there watching right now, this is Mash speaking, all right? To my BJettes. That's right, Mash right here. You know what I'm talking about. Our G-Men's going to take it down over in San Fran. Sorry, 49ers. Go home. Might as well stay home. The G-Men got this. This is the stone cold lock of the pick of the week of the century of every day, all the time the Giants win.
This is Carl Aqua Teen Hunger Force, and this is my stone cold lock of the century. I'm not allowed to say the name because someone copyrighted it.
Goddamn right. Goddamn right.
I want to bet the Giants. -10 is such a big line. These teams have always played each other tough, but the Giants injury report is a lot. They're down 2 offensive linemen. They are down Saquon Barkley, who might be their offense. I love Danny Dimes. Biggest Danny Dimes supporter you're going to find this side of the mitt. But that being said, if San Francisco's at full strength and the Giants are down 2 offensive linemen, I don't even think Danny Dimes might look like he did after week 1, and that wasn't good.
Who you picking, Matt? Just say it.
Oh, I'm picking no one. I am staying away from this game completely. It's too big of it's a 10-point spread. It's too big, and I would bet the Giants if one of those 3 players was playing.
I'm not angry. I'm fucking furious right now.
Furious.
I know it was you, Fredo, coming after you.
This is what we might see. This is how we might see Daniel Jones next week.
We didn't score yet.
Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that. Me, I took a beating.
He might take a beating.
Listen, I'm not laughing at that. That's cheesy. That's not funny.
All right, so San Francisco Giants, no bet. So if we move to the next game, still in your division, we have the Philadelphia Fightins. We're talking about the Fightins here.
I must abstain from choosing in this game, but go TB.
They're going to Tampa Bay. This opened at 7, and I didn't bet it, and I hate myself so much because now it's down to 4.5. It's a complete stay away right now because I don't know how good Tampa is. I don't know how good Baker Mayfield is because they haven't played anyone, but they have won 2 games, and winning's difficult in the NFL. And Philadelphia's looked off the first 2 weeks. They look tired. Now, their defensive line looks very good, so Baker Mayfield might be running for his life. But we don't know that. That being said, this game has went from 7 all the way down to 4.5. If you see a 3 with Philadelphia, I think it's a buy point. That's my buy point. Tampa, I would not bet them anymore. I think that your number's long gone on the Tampa side. But if this number keeps falling and we get Philly at 3, I might be in. All
right, I'm picking TB all the way, dropping a hundo on it.
Hundo on TB.
Yep.
All right, so then next we have this is one of Smash's favorites, so we'll play it in his honor.
I hate the Raiders. I hate the Raiders.
John, calm down.
Calm down.
The Los Angeles Raiders.
We have Pittsburgh going into Las Vegas to play the Raiders. Now,
Los Angeles, you said it wrong. I haven't left the 90s.
Not only do I love Danny Dimes, I love the underdogs. Kenny is my boy. I love Kenny Pickett. He's from Pittsburgh. He's the man. And Pickens and Kenny won me $100 last week on a 5-legger against Cleveland because Cleveland's junk.
Mom, I don't want to lose to the Browns. Joe Burrow's never beaten the Browns, and they're historically the worst franchise in NFL history.
That's saying something, that knowing that the Lions exist. But I hate the Browns, and so I bet Pittsburgh big, and I got them. That being said, they beat the hell out of each other in that game. Pittsburgh's down like 3 or 4 players. They're down an offensive lineman. Vegas looks pretty clean on their injury report. They're traveling across the country. East Coast to West Coast is never good for the East Coast team, and it's lined at 2.5 to the Raiders. 2.5 and 3 are a buy point. I like the Raiders. If it goes any higher, if you get 3.5, which I don't think we will, but if we do get a good injury report, you might get 3.5 and middle 3 come back with Pittsburgh. So I like the Raiders. 2.5, 3 is good. 3.5, maybe Pittsburgh. This is gonna be a close game, but I think Pittsburgh has too many injuries. But so we shall see.
Like the man says, trust the numbers. Go with what Matt's telling you.
Next. All right, so speaking of teams I hate, we have Tennessee, who I don't mind, but I don't like. I think they're a little old school. Going to Cleveland. Deshaun Watson might have 3 turnovers in this game, if not more, but it's only a 3.5-point game at home. Tennessee's not that good. The math says bet Cleveland. The math. I'm not going to put my own money on Cleveland. I could be against my own model sometimes. That being said, the math says that Cleveland wins this one by at least 5.
Mash couldn't agree more. Go Cleveland. The biggest mistake on the lake.
The lake, like Irie. And last but not least, we have one of my favorite teams versus my least favorite team. We have the New Orleans Saints. Who dat? They said, who dat? They're 2-0. Don't know how. Shouldn't be, but are. Go into Green Bay. Now, the Tundra definitely is not currently frozen. And it's not Brett Favre and it's not Aaron Rodgers. They're 2-point favorites, which basically makes this makes it a pick-em game on a neutral field. Jordan Love might be better than we think he is. Green Bay's defense is pretty solid. 2 is a really good number. This is a pick-em game. I don't have any lean to New Orleans or Green Bay. I hate Green Bay. I don't want any reason to have to worry about this game other than just hating Green Bay. So I'm out. I make this game exactly 2. It's a 2-point game. The books got it right. I don't even have a lean. I don't even have a lean.
Listen, don't tell Mrs. Mash I said this because she's Cajun and she'll spice me up and throw me in the oven. But I gotta love the Green Bay here. I think Green Bay is going to take it. So Green Bay all the way for me.
New Orleans might just be bad. Just as Tampa Bay is bad, just as everyone in their division is bad. Carolina's horrendous, obviously, but they might be good. Maybe that division's average, and we're about to find out because this is really a test of a middle-of-the-road NFC North team playing a middle-of-the-road NFC West team. So we'll see how it ends up. So those are our plays for the week. I'm going to bring it up here for MASH. Woo. We got Detroit over Atlanta. We got Washington to cover against Buffalo. We got Seattle to kill Carolina. We got Dallas to cover over Arizona. That's a big number. Miami's going to cream Denver. Denver might as well not even show up. Baltimore in a tough division game. I think they still cover. I like Lamar a lot this week. Chargers over Minnesota. I do think this is a sneaky under game. So the under's 54, and I don't know if these two teams score against each other as much as they have against other teams, but we'll see. I like the Rams over Cincinnati. Now watch that number. This is probably a good number if Burrow doesn't play. If he does play, it's probably okay, but it could flip on you in a hurry. If you like this number, take it now. The Jets, much to Mash's dismay, I think they cover and win against New England. I don't think New England's very good. And the Jets are always correlated to the under. So you really want to take this game, take Jets money line with the under and maybe Mac Jones to throw an interception. That'll get you probably 5-1, which will be a fun way to bet this. And I think that's the way you bet the Jets the whole year because Zach Wilson is so unpredictable. I think you want above even odds if you're betting on him. But I do think there's a lot of outcomes that can occur. San Francisco at the Giants. In respect to MASH, I don't bet this game. The Giants are beat up, but I hope the best. The Raiders, as much as I love Pittsburgh, I think Pittsburgh's really beat up. This is their first big road test. They're going all the way out to the West Coast. I think they're in trouble. I think the Raiders can cover and win by a field goal half. And Green Bay and New Orleans, I got nothing. I got absolutely nothing. It's a close game. I make it exactly 2.
There it is. The Giants win everything. Every game this week. Bet on them.
That no one circles the wagon like the Buffalo Bills.
And don't you forget that. But with that being said, I think that's all we got this week. I am, of course, Math. This is our stand-in, MASH. Good man.
Back every week. Come down to Rico's Porta Potty Emporium. Ask for Mike. Come see me. I'll take care of you. This episode is brought to you by it because we're all full of shit except for the math.
They didn't put Rico's Porta Potty Emporium number on it, but if you add the Scene Snobs, you can get a hold of MASH. So smash that like button, smash the subscribe button, stick with us throughout the year. This model is hitting. Let's keep the good things going. And remember, you can bet the spread. You just got to know how to do it.